Yuk. Tes 1 dicoba tes. Untuk admin mohon tes modulasi. Adminnya tolong tes modulasi biar
Oh, Shirley. Gimana? Ini ya, kok bersih kali? Mati lagi ya. Oke, ini yang Shirley ya. Nanti buat namanya ya. Ya, ya. Oke. Halo Bang. Oh, oke.
Oh iya, background.
Dua berapa? Sini sini. Tahu kelasnya dua berapa? Masuk kelas juga tetap wajib ikut. Ya. Tidak ada kan? Coba. Ayo. Ada.
3.2.
Iya, berbeda.
Pukul Citra Kurniawan. Citra Kurniawan. Saudara Kevin Citra Kurniawan. Kevin Citra Kurniawan. Oke.
Selama gap year ini, aku banyak menggunakan Grammarly untuk menulis personal statement yang nanti akan aku
Times have changed. The office is no longer status quo.
Hi, so let's go ahead and add my student accounts. There we go, you can fill out all the information and then you send this to your attendees. You can now see that meeting on your calendar and then additional options. We want to choose additional options. Now what you want to change is the drop-down boxes at the bottom where it says who can present. Now at the moment everyone can present and we want to change that. Now here you can either allocate specific people, your co-teachers, and these new settings have now been rolled out. So let's go and have a look at what this looks like inside that meeting. I'm going to open up the meeting with this tab. So simply
Halo semuanya, bisa kedengaran suara saya?
Bisa, Pak.
Okay. Okay, everyone, welcome back to the lecture. It is the first day of our class, and thank you very much that to our guest from Xiamen University, Malaysia, who is willing to give a talk today on a topic that that's been. Okay, so this is the rundown for everyone. Okay, so for our students and beloved lecturers, if after the
Cannot hear
talk you
you.
have any questions, and listen to me clearly. Hello.
Clear, sir.
Okay, clear. Introduction from the Xiamen University, Malaysia. They are going to introduce the Xiamen University, Malaysia campus to us. After that, it will be followed by another promotion or briefing from the MBA school from Xiamen University. And then we have 45 to 50 minutes speech from our lecturer, Dr. Faisal. And after that, you have 10 to 15 minutes questions and answers. Okay, so for the question and answer session, if you have any questions, you can pass your questions to the lecturer. Then the lecturer will help you pass the questions in the group. And I will type the questions, type your questions into the chat room in these Teams. Okay. Okay, everyone, because of time constraint, let's start with our first agenda today. First agenda today is a briefing and promotion session from Xiamen University, Malaysia. To Ms. Lestari Suryato, please take off the room.
Mr. Susanto, I cannot share my slide now because it said only the organizer and presenter can share. Maybe need to set me as the presenter.
Okay, I'll set it as presenter. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, Pak Indra from IT, please set Ms. Lestari Suryanto as presenter. In a way, Ms. Lestari.
Oh, so I leave first, I come back, or how? Hah? Hah?
Yang buang
Ah.
sampah di sana.
Hello, I cannot. Or maybe I send the slide to someone, or how?
Tin, 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 tin.
Hello, sorry, while waiting to not wasting time. So while waiting, maybe let me, okay, now I can share already. Okay, thank you so much for allowing me. Okay. So very good evening. Can everyone see my slide now? Okay, I hope, I believe that everyone is seeing. Okay, very good evening. My name is Lestari, or usually the students here will call me Miss Lala. I'm representing Xiamen University, Malaysia. As a brief introduction, Xiamen University is actually a public university. Adalah universitas negeri di China, ya. It's just like UI, ITB in Indonesia. And also we are a university with good ranking, which is 297 as per US News and World Report, and 422 worldwide as per QS ranking. So it's a very good university. Okay, and our university have started from 1921. So it is more than a century, more than 100 years university. And in 2016, dari 2016, we have our campus in Malaysia. In Malaysia, we are located in Sepang, Selangor, Kuala Lumpur. It is about 15 minutes from Kuala Lumpur International Airport. Okay, to make story short, so let's enjoy and see our beautiful campus. So this is our beautiful campus. Our campus total is 150 acre. 150 acre in Indonesia sekitar 60 hektar, ya. Itu adalah luas daripada kampus, 60 hektar. So this is our library. Okay, our classroom, you can see our classroom from medium room, small room, up to auditorium that can accommodate for more than 300 students. Okay, we also have a lot of labs. Okay, our biology labs, engineering labs, microscopy room, receiving room, and so many other labs. Okay, for our students to do their research. So now is our hostel area. So you can see most of the students is staying inside the campus. It's just like the own city where we have our hostel, our canteen, our teaching building, all together in one 60 hectare environment. And this is our canteen. We have a whole building, 3 floors canteen with more than 20 stalls inside. Yeah, so the choices of food is quite plenty. And inside the campus also we have supermarket. So I mean the daily needs can be fulfilled inside the campus without going out. We also have a lot of sports facilities, okay, like our football field, basketball, volley, tennis, futsal, swimming pool, gym, indoor and outdoor. Okay, and the most important, all of these sports facilities can be used by the student without charge. Okay, it's free of charge for students to use. So this is our founder, Mr. Tanggal, and this is our beautiful campus in Malaysia. So that's our university. Okay, a lot of people when they pass by, they will think that it is a hotel or a resort. By the way, if you have a mobile phone, please scan this, okay, to get more details about our university. When you scan this and fill up your information, later on we will contact you further and share you about our university details and program details. So please, if you have time, please scan it and leave your information for us. Okay, so why study at Xiamen University, Malaysia? In general, our qualification is recognized by two big governments, which is Malaysia and China. Okay, 80% of our academic, ya, 80% ke atas daripada akademik kita itu adalah lulusan S3. Okay, and all program in Xiamen, Malaysia is conducted in English, except for two programs, which is traditional Chinese medicine and Chinese studies. Okay, so and also we are very emphasis the balance of teaching, learning, and research. So it's really a very good university. Okay, and a brief introduction further. Currently, our population is more than 6,000 students, which is around 60% is Malaysian, around 25 to 30% is China students, and we have 10% of international students come from more than 40 countries. So your classmate, your same peer, is not, it is really multinational, datang lebih daripada 40 negara. So in nowadays, in globalization era, okay, where the global village, the network is very important, where you have the peer is more than 40 countries, come from more than 40 countries. Okay, so what the program we have in Xiamen, Malaysia? We have undergraduate, we have 22 programs. Okay, and also we have master. Master, we have currently 7 programs. And today I will specifically emphasize for our MBA program because Eka-prasetya, as I know, most of the student is doing accounting of management. So it is a very in line if they continue to study their master, melanjutkan S2 di MBA kita. Ya, jadi kita ada MBA. Later on, my colleague, Ms. Yenting, also will share further about the master program. Okay, so these are the program we have, which I will skip. It's fast, okay. And the master we have business master in business administration, master in Chinese studies. This all okay. I will skip it fast. And upon graduations, Xiamen, Malaysia, the student will get 3 certificates. One, which is, you can see here, this is from Chinese. It is indicate that you are from Xiamen, China. The middle one is in English, and the third one is certificate from Ministry of Education in China. So it is a very unique. So you are a public university. You are public university graduates from China. Okay, so for S1, even though all of you already doing your bachelor, okay, maybe you can help us to share with your junior, your sisters, your brothers, or even your neighbors. Okay, Xiamen University Malaysia, we provide scholarship up to 100% for anak-anak kelas 12 sekarang untuk apply ke S1 di Xiamen University Malaysia. Jadi kita menyediakan beasiswa sampai 100%. Ya. If for more information you want to know, you may contact me further. Through my email down here or my WhatsApp. Okay. And for the MBA program, we provide scholarship up to 30%. Later on, my colleague Miss Yenting will share further about the MBA and how the scholarship works. So any of you, if you're interested to further study for the S2, later on we may share further. Okay, so this is our, for a quick one, our student hostel. Okay, you can see, okay, our building, okay, the 60 hectare, universities. You can see our university is really very beautiful. Okay, our canteen, okay, our stadium, our mini stadium, indoor and outdoor. Okay, our swimming pool, our gym, okay, our library and our laboratories. Okay, we also have shuttle bus. We also have prayer room for Muslim students. We also have counseling center and on-campus clinic if you get sick. Okay, inside campus also we have mini market, our printing service. And in Xiamen, Malaysia, we believe study is not only academic. Non-academic is also very important. For example, your networking, your leadership, okay, your team leading. So that's why we have more than 50 clubs and society for students to join. Okay, so this is our students' activities for your reference. Our student is quite active and they won a lot of, awards locally or internationally. Okay. And then we prepare our student. We want our student to be job ready from their study time. So we also have career fair. We even have like a mock interview, resume clinic, all of this platform to to prepare our student to be job ready from the school time. Okay, and from 2016 up to now, okay, 2022, we are 6 years plus. We already have 3 cohort of graduates. Okay, these are our graduates photo. Okay, and we also have Indonesia student that is already graduate with us. Okay, but here is we have a student. She is from Medan, from Methodist 2. Okay, so maybe I share you. This video was taken just less than 2 weeks ago because on last 26th of August, she has her convocation.
Halo semuanya, perkenalkan nama saya Adi. Saya berasal dari Medan, Indonesia. Jadi di sini saya belajar jadi adik saya engineering atau bisa dikatakan sebagai teknik energi gas. Jadi setelah lulus, saya sekarang bekerja jadi data analis dan walaupun major saya merupakan teknik energi baru, tapi saya selalu passionate terhadap data analis dan sekarang saya bekerja di sebuah perusahaan Australia bernama Influx dan perusahaan ini merupakan work from home base atau bisa dikatakan WFH. Jadi ini adalah sebuah pekerjaan yang saya sangat menarik dan saya sangat bersyukur dapat bekerja ini. Terima kasih.
Okay, that's all for today. Okay, later on, if you have any questions, you can list down. And we will answer it together during a Q&A session. So now my colleague, Ms. Yenting, will share with all of you about our MBA. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Lestari Suryanto, for the introduction of Xiamen University Malaysia campus. Now we will proceed to the second agenda, the introduction of the MBA school from Xiamen University Malaysia by Ms. Yenting. Ms. Yenting, please proceed.
Yenting, I think maybe your mic is off. You need to unmute yourself.
Hello, can you hear me?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah? Okay, good.
Loud and clear.
Thank you. All right. So, hi, selamat malam, everyone. So, can you see my presentation slide?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay, so hi to the student tonight. Okay, so after your degree, what are you thinking about next? Okay, so it's always about what's next, right? So maybe you want to think of an MBA, Master of Business Administration. Like Lala has mentioned, we actually are recognized, globally, okay, as well as your certificate will be from China. Okay, so people will ask like, why MBA? Okay, why do I want to study MBA? So there are many, many reasons. Like after your degree, you can go for work, right? But you can go set up your business and all the different alternatives actually. And people like to ask the question, what is there for me if I study MBA right after degree? So right after degree, right, we realize that actually it improves the salary. This one is a statistic from pay scale. Okay, so it's a Malaysian ringgit. Right, if we look at this one, okay, so degree to masters, okay, for someone who hold the same position, but with master, they actually earns 30% more from the pay scale. So something that I can look at, okay, in Indonesia, right, the statistic of it, saying that MBA program for Indonesia, with that 272 million per year is actually their average. So we are looking at the earnings about per month in average in Indonesia for this figure. Okay. So of course, other program like why do we want to do that? Upskill, reskill, and new skill. So thinking about pandemic, yeah, just happened after pandemic, there are 2,755 billionaire more than the year before even pandemic. So why do you think there are so many billionaires suddenly? Okay, so we look at, they don't just become millionaire overnight because they have wider network. People knows how to produce things and then people knows each other. Okay, so all that things that putting into your mind now, right? Why do we want to study MBA after degree is because, right, to build network is something very, very important to build your network. Right. So how is this MBA in Xiamen going to help you? It's basically we are having this holistic learning. So we don't just teach in the class, okay? We also have this informal learning, non-formal learning as well as the component to help you actually maximize your potential in the future. Right. So this holistic learning, what we also do, not just the MBA study, we also do business mentorship. We do industrial lecture program. Okay, we have selected topic on China to make you understand more current affair of China at the moment. And then networking day so that you can actually build up more network, webinars, all this masterclass, all these things are actually in the packet of the MBA. Okay, so those are some of the activities that we have run before. Okay, so some of the webinars about blockchain that you can think of actually about businesses. Business in China. One thing that is very, very, special to our program as well is this non-formal learning. So in the non-formal learning, we will take student, okay, at the end of the study, hopefully take student to a study trip to China for 10 days, okay? So why do we want to do that? It's for you to establish network, to get to know the alumni in school, okay? So as well to visit the campus and then the tour for the Xiamen as well, okay, for the 10 days. That's the trip plan, okay, at the moment. So coming back to the question, what is the MBA program in summary here? So we have 3 intakes, okay? January sometimes is a soft intake. We might not have it, we might, okay? May and September is a major intake here, right? So our mode of study is actually through English. So if you are a full-time student, what you have would be 16 months, okay? In 1.5 years, you will already gotten your MBA program and degree. Okay, we have a very small class size, weekend classes. So in 4 months, right, there will be already 1 semester. Okay, so next thing to look at the tuition fee. Right, so for the tuition fee for international student and Malaysia student, you see, the difference is not very different. Okay, 39,900 is actually about 132 million, okay, of Indonesian rupiah. So we also have this assistance later on that I'll explain to you. So when we actually talk about the financial aid, right? Ms. Lala just now mentioned that we have 30%. So in the scholarship, if you are international student, you score in your degree more than 3.2, okay, CGPA, then you will be actually entitling for this 30% entrance scholarship. Okay, so what's better, right? You have a progressive scholarship in 2nd semester. So if you get consistently 30%, you know the total saving you will have is actually 39 million, okay, of Indonesian ringgit. So the next thing is, of course, if you study in Xiamen, then your family, like your brother and sister, they will be able to get XMUM alumni grant when they study undergraduate, when they study master program with us, okay? So in the course structure, right, okay, we list down some of the core courses, some of the elective, okay, MBA is a general management one, and then they are a global brand. So when you go out to every country, you ask people MBA, then they would know it, okay? A lot of managerial position, then they have this MBA in their pocket. And what is so special about Xiamen University MBA program, right? We have Chinese culture elements in there. So these Chinese culture elements means that you actually get to study 2 more subjects. Chinese language, learn a bit about introductory in Chinese language, as well as selected topic on China. Okay, so current affair, cultural, law within China. Okay, so the next one, and the very last one I would say, okay, so it's looking at the intake. So let me show you the intake for the upcoming orientation. Orientation means that you need to be in Malaysia already, yeah? So the next one will be in January 7. So before January 7, you need to give yourself a few months, okay, to apply for visas, apply for the program. So in May, we have another intake, and then to September for another intake, okay? So apply soon to make, to make it for the intake that's starting at the above dates, yeah? All right. So the next thing to think of at your very young age now, you need to think of if you want something in your life that is you never had, right? So you will have to do something very, very different to achieve that. Okay. So that was actually the last of my presentation. If you look at that, right, you can register your interest. Okay, we have a bit.ly.com link here. So it's 3KQT6JP, and then or you can actually scan the QR code. All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Susanto. Back to you.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Yanting, for the information. Okay, now we have come to the agenda which every one of us has been waiting for. Okay, so this session will be conducted by Dr. Fauza Sahuddin. Okay, let me introduce her a bit to all of you. Dr. Faiza graduated with Bachelor of Economics from University Putra, Malaysia, 1999, with a major resource economics. Then she continued to her Master of Science degree in International Economics and Finance from University of Newcastle upon Tyne, United Kingdom in 2006, with her dissertation titled Comparative Financial Analysis and Performance of Islamic and Conventional Banking in Malaysia. After that, she pursued her education to the PhD degree in Agricultural Economics from University Putra, Malaysia in March 2017, and with her thesis titled The Economic Impact of Homestay Program Development in the Rural Areas of Selangor, Malaysia. So without further ado, everyone, let's welcome Dr. Faiza Sahuddin. Dr. Faiza, the room is yours.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Susanto, and welcome to all of the students. I hope you can hear me very clearly.
Yes.
Okay, that's great. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak at your event today. I really indeed feel very honored, and it is my great pleasure to share with you some of the thoughts on creativity and how it linked to the economy. With that, allow me to share my screens, and if you have any questions, maybe you can wait until the Q&A session. All right, so I hope the content of my presentation will be very much beneficial to all of you. Right, just give me a second to share my screen. Right, I hope all of you can view my screens by now.
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, let's move on to our business for today, which is to look at the content of creative economy, how it linked to the trends, opportunities, and also the challenges. So with that, I welcome all of the students from Eka-Prasetya, and I am very glad to see that so many of you Mr. Susanto said it's about 600 students were in the session virtually and also physically in the hall. Right, I think Mr. Susanto have given you some of my background. So I am one of the lecturers, economic lecturers at School of Economics and Management, and I'm also the deputy head for the International Business Program. So for today's, I will talk about creative economy, and I hope all of you will enjoy. This will be my content for today. Basically, there are 5 subtopics on creative economy. How we look at the glance, how the creative economy being developed these days, how could it grow in the future, which is we are looking at the trend, the market trend, and the third section is looking at how large it is, why it is important, and what happened after the pandemic, and now we are in the endemic era. And also we look at the linkages between the creative economy and how it would develop our country, how it helps to create the growth of the economy. Particularly, I will present to you with some of the data on Indonesian economy and how the creative economy contribute to Indonesian well-being as well. And finally, I will share some thought on the way ahead. Right, so let's start off with the first section of today, which is how the creative economy basically been captured in our economy. So in general, I think some of you might have done this topic or came across some of the information about the creative economy. So if you see CE in my slides, I think you should understand that it refers to creative economy. It is actually a set of knowledge-based economic activity. It is
sorry, you have been mute, Doctor.
Yeah, you have been muted, Dr. Faiza. I think that you need
Dr.
to
Faiza?
set your mic. Dr. Faiza?
yeah. What about now?
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it just suddenly happened. Okay, I'm so sorry for that. Okay, let's go back. Can you see my slides?
Yes, of course.
All right, that's great. Okay, let's continue. So CE is the creative economy. Yeah, in this presentation, I will use the short form so that it's much easier for me to present the topic. And it is very large. Yeah, it comprises of many industries. The lifeblood of creative economy could include advertisement, architecture, design, fashion, film, video, photography, music, publishing, and many more. They are can generally referred to a set of knowledge-based economics activity which making an intensive use of innovation, creativity, and how we add some of the value added to it to make it more creative for goods and services. It could be tangible or intangible. So we could also say that creative economy addresses very important social and cultural needs, especially when the world hits by the pandemic and how it was bad in Indonesia and as well as in Malaysia. It put some standstill on the growth of creating a creative economy, but now I think we are moving very fast to capture the development. So it is basically looking at the evolving concepts, how people start to think about a creative way to develop goods, to supply the product, or even to sell them online. It came from the basic concept of micro and macro. I think most of the students have done some basic economic paper, like in micro or macro, you learn about demand and supply. It is basically come from, the basic theory of how, demand will create a supply. So these days, people would like to do things instantly, or most of the goods, from home, or they try to look at the creative way of satisfy their human needs. So this is where the creative economy comes in to foster the economic growth. And the definition by the United Nations Conference and Trade Development, it says that the policy option is the most important thing to improve the development of creative economy, as well as the welfare gain by the developing countries especially. Do you know that the creative economy terms was firstly introduced back in 2006 by the UNCTAD, United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, in Geneva, back then in December 2006. This association was the first one to use this word, creative economy. So it is not something new. It's been in the economy for quite some time. Yeah? So I think it is very important for us to look at the important part of this economy. It's no longer about conventional economy where we look at just demand and supply, but it's more toward how we develop creativity as an added values. All right, so far so good, I hope. Okay, so it comprised of culture, labor, industry, trade, technology, and tourism. It's actually many more than that. In fact, in education, it's been developed very fast, because these days, and also due to pandemic, you can see that we have more ecosystem in our education where we can actually have a session today with 600 students. And it was not that famous back then before the pandemic. So it is something positive inside that you could see. And also how we could develop the creative economy in almost every section in the industry, such as performing art, leisure, as well as anthropology and others. So it is a very huge. Basically, it is in every industries, how you make it more innovative, how you make it as creative as you can. So you see, it involved almost every section in our life, even for leisure time, communication, music, cultural preservation, recreational activities, and many more. So basically, all of us are the stakeholders for the creative economy. Right, as what it says here by United Nations Commission on Trade and Development, the creative economy is emerging concepts. The most important thing is the interface of creativity, culture, economics, and technology. So how it is an integration of many sections in our economics activities. So if we go back to the concepts, we look at micro, demand and supply. It creates resources and also money, which lead to macroeconomy, which is the income of the economy, the GDP, gross domestic product. So it comprises of trade, investment, industry, technology, enterprises, and now I think for the Indonesian market, tourism is one of the key driver for creative economy, which I will maybe explain more later on. So it is not just about goods and services, but how we put the creativity on it, to make it more demandable by the people. How we create the some sorts of the needs where people look at certain things, they feel like, oh, okay, from this, let's say social media platform, when people from the TikTok or from the Instagram, they look at how nice the Bali is, people showing the live videos, it created some sort of preferences for them to go to Bali. And indeed, Bali was a very, very nice place. I visited. I was in Bali for a month when I was doing exchange program to teach in Bali, and it's absolutely fantastic. So we can see that, it is the new form of income generation from the orientation of technology, innovative, and creativity. Very dynamic. So sometimes people might ask, what is the difference between digital and creative economy? You must understand that creative economy is an ecosystem that comprises of many industries, whereas digital economy is looking at the economic activity. Billions of activity conducted every day from what? From connection, wireless connection, online connection, people, businesses, devices, data, and processes. So basically, the backbone of digital economy is the IoT, Internet of Things, whereas the lifeblood of creative economy is the industry itself, like film, TV. So it is an integration between both somehow. So the report by Deloitte on the future of creative economy published back in June 2021, it says that the development of creative economy is a sector based, where it looks at the primary intersection of human creativity and capital, how we use the resources to come up with something new. It is not just looking at the natural resources itself. It's like, we look at the, for example, when we look at photography, we know that there are a few tools that we need, but how we make it more interesting. It's not just camera and the scenery, but how, the whole world can view the place like Bali, in a very creative way. However, there are some data will be presented here. It is might be just a projection. It is the assumption made on the future interaction, how people would like to maybe spend more money on all this creative economy. Right, so that is the thing that you have to keep in mind. Okay, let's move on to the second part of my presentation. How could the creative economy grow in the future? So we look at the trend. It's a very significant positive trend, where we look at these are the major economy, the data being collected from 2011 to 2018, and we could see that the size of the creative economy is growing significantly. And it stopped at 2018, but for Indonesia itself, yes, any questions?
So the student may follow.
Excuse me, I'm not sure whether my line is not clear, or is it is lagging. Can you repeat, please?
I say, Dr. Faizal, your slide is missing. Maybe you need to reshare your slide.
Is it just happened, or it's been missing for quite some times?
Yeah, it's been missing for quite some time.
Oh God, I'm so sorry. Okay, can you see my slides now?
No.
No,
not my side.
But it is sharing from my computers.
Okay, we can see your slide now.
Oh, okay, maybe it's a bit lagging. I'm so sorry. Okay, what about now?
It is gone again.
What about now?
No, not yet.
Now it's okay.
It's okay now?
Okay, it's
Okay,
good now.
it's okay now. Okay.
All right. Okay, I'm so sorry for that. Just keep me update on any technical issues. I'm so sorry. All right. So for Indonesia creative economy, it is very large. If you ask me how large, we don't have the recent data on 2020 to 22 because of the pandemic. Of course, it makes all the industry stand still. But from 2017 to 2019, we can see that it's about 86.9 billion USD dollars, which contributed about 15% of Indonesia workforce. So it is very big indeed. And you can see it comes from, many industries. All right. So then what happened now? Because, we know that nobody have predicted that pandemic, the COVID-19 was very much, a disaster. For 2 years, we have dealing with lockdowns, economic standstill, the fragility of the economy and all. So what we have to do? So before that, we must understand how COVID-19 has affected the world, especially the creative economy. Right? It is a shock to everyone, especially in the interplay of demand and supply. And no doubt that it gives some advantage to the maybe to the creative industries such as Netflix, TV, video games, because people very much staying at home. So it is a very drastic change in all these industries compared to the others like Spotify. So by looking at some good data from Deloitte, overall, we could see that this is, the component, the large component of the creative economy. It is very much towards creative occupation outside the creative industry. So now, people staying at home could actually earn more than people going to the office. Why? Because design some things that is very interesting and creative. All right. So if you are looking at trade per se, trade in creative goods, it says that in general it creates about 20 million jobs to people that been employed under this unique economy, which is known as creative economy. And Asia, China, and of course Asia Pacific, Australia. We contribute a lot, and China was the leading exporter back in 2015, and until now they are still the leaders in creative economy, right? So we could see that the most important section is film, television, and artificial intelligence. This is how China become, the key drivers of the creative economy. And now people, every country try to change their policy to make it, to put creative economy as one of the important section in their budget, in their, in how they're gonna develop the policy, especially when related to human resources. So what happened in the future? Is there any significant promisings about this creative industry will grow? Okay, after the COVID-19 pandemic, there are many projections, and this is from Deloitte. It says that from the projection from 2025 to 2030, as I mentioned, it is based on the assumption that there's going to be nothing wrong in the economy. The COVID-19 will over and the life will go back to the normal. So it projected that based on this data, it is very promising growth. Significant growth, especially in leisure and entertainment, that will become the major drive of employment. So you guys, the about 600 students who are watching me today, okay, some of you will directly or indirectly involved in creative economy. And you can see that there are huge job opportunity for you, right? It's just that you have to explore and equip yourself with, with the education with degrees, okay, so that you could join this market and, you may become one of the contributors to the economy in the future. Because there is a huge linkages between creative economy and the growth or the wealth of the nation. However, despite the promising data that we see, there must be a challenges that we have to face. So we have to look at how the ecosystem is interconnected. It's from production, consumption, creativity, how it will, create the multiply effects in the economy, subjected to technological change from the society and cultures, as well as the policymakers, the political infrastructures. And now it is quite new for you to know that the UNDC have tried to link the creative economy towards sustainability. And there are 17 sustainability goals that link to this environment. So it's very much, challenging how we could shape the supply chain activities, how the shared IP, as well as the internet intellectual property right, and how we are not making it as a problem of overlapping. What happens if people keep on creating something that is within the section? They are very much overlapping. Is it good, or is it, what happened was the old version will be very much redundant? So we try to look at the competitiveness of the production goods and what priority should attach, especially, of course, you guys, the young generation that will become the future leaders. You are the priority in education. That's why we can see that many more universities try to engage all of you with data analytic, with the digital marketing, because this is what you need in the future. So maybe I could hear from one or two person. So far, so good. I hope. What is creative economy? If any one of you would like to, maybe, just share me with, just give me some thoughts. What is creative economy so far? Anyone? I know it's late evening. Does anyone interested to? Kelvin? Kelvin, would you like to? Or anyone? Okay, no worry. You can share with me your thoughts in the chat box or later on. Yeah, and I'm also glad to share with you that I've been in Xiamen since 2016, and I've seen that more and more Indonesian students in our faculty, and they are the good one, very outstanding student. Actually, my top thesis student for last semesters was actually from Indonesia. He's from Jakarta, and I have 4. So I know you are all the good students. Right, so let me continue with my presentation. Economy is looking at all the intersection of the creative industries. It is the lifeblood of the creative economy, which for example, how people could become a very creative photographer, or the technological software developers, how they could become the the creative advertiser. So there are many, even in fashion and so on. All right. However, there are many issues and challenges that we have to embrace as well. That is something that we cannot escape, such as what? Unpredictable economy. There will always be linkages, there will always be economic problems as well as externalities. What is externalities? Third-party impacts, meaning that maybe, let's say, for example, the social media platform supposed to be a very good platform for us to share about, the products, the news, some of the political issues, but it could also create some, negative sides of it. So that is the externalities part of the creative economy that we have to look at, this issue very seriously, especially amongst the policy makers. And another thing is very hard sometimes to measure the correct amount of creative economy, because it is a very new concept. It's hard to be measured sometimes, especially when we look at all these, online social media platform, right? So we might not have the exact data. However, it is very interesting to see how the, how we ourselves as an academician, you as the students, the government, and the communities and other sectors link together to produce the creative economy. And, when we are looking at, 8 years' time, in 2030, we should reach to the words SDG. Okay, the 17 SDG goal, right? So there is not a long way to go, but it is very important how sustainability have to be in our creative economy. And I think many of you quite, maybe familiar with this face. This is your Ministry of Tourism. I met him personally in the conference. I think it was last 3 months. He came to Malaysia. Very, very interesting presentation. He tell us how he tried to, innovate the Indonesian tourism to reach the new goal by 2030. As we can see from here, tourism is, the biggest part. Culinary is part of the tourism. Fashion, craft, media, architectures, performing arts. Basically, it's all about tourism. It's one of the creative industries. And I think Indonesia have very good services in tourism sectors that, it's very different from other country. So by looking at all the challenges, what would be the solution? Of course, I don't have the answers. In fact, there are many debates on that. No, there is something that is not something that we can solve, within 2-3 years. Okay, not all fits one approach, meaning that it depends on the ecosystem and also the infrastructures of the economy. Each country have different strength in this case, and also the technological advances level and how they look at the digital content. But I think it's very important for all of us to think on how, we could support the creative economy, especially to overcome the COVID-19 pandemics, and how the recovery is very, very important, right? So we know that it is not about looking at natural resources, but we look at, how the human creativity would make the capital more efficiently used to produce innovative goods and services. That will be the central focus. How we could make the product more creative, and at the same time, it is positively affects the well-being and it creates social harmony. So you see, it is a very integrated sustainability thinking that we must have in our strategic planning, even day-to-day practices. Even you as a student, you might think that, if you want to produce, let's say, a group assignment, what should be the creative way to do this type of task, right? So finally, we look at the way ahead. As we can see, we have seen some data as an evidence, but as what mentioned earlier on, the creative economy is very large and growing. Okay, so there are a lot of things that we need to measure later on, and how we make it more universality, meaning that, you know, different country might have also different terms for creative economy. So maybe, you know, we should have come to the standard definition of creative economy, and we could collaborate more. And of course, the important part for many researchers have said that culture, tourism, basically tourism sectors is the best, you know, for creative economy, right? So I hope my presentation has been very beneficial and interesting to some of you, or all of you, I hope. And if you have any question and answers, of course, do not hesitate. You can type on the chat box. I think Mr. Susanto will share the question with me later on. And if I cannot answer all of your questions, you can forward your question to my official email, faiza.shaudin@xmu.edu.my. With that, thank you for listening, and have a good day.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Faiza. A very interesting talk, and we have got a lot of insights and a lot of knowledge from your sharing. So far, I have 4 questions with me now, but I don't know why I'm not able to chat in here. Do you mind if I read the questions to you, Ms. Faiza?
Of course,
okay.
Mr. Susanto, you are welcome.
Okay, so we have the first questions here. What is the difference between creative economy and creative industry, Dr. Faiza?
All right. Okay. Thank you for the question. I think it is very interesting. Actually, creative economy require the industries. So when we say creative industry, it is actually interchangeably used as a creative economy. Without the industry, there is no economy. Okay, so it is basically similar in the general terms. In the general terms, it's just that we try to make sure that the industry is creative enough to be part of the conventional economy. Okay, it's like having a lecture. At universities, those days will run through physical classes. All right, these days we can have physical and virtual. So that is part of creativity. Okay, right. I hope I answer your questions. Any more questions would you like to have?
Okay, so I hope the first questions is clear. If you're still not clear, you still can chat me in our WhatsApp group. Okay, and then I'll come to the second questions, Dr. Faiza.
Yes.
Earlier you mentioned about artificial intelligence. So what does it mean by having the artificial intelligence in economy will create the creative economy?
Okay, all right. Artificial intelligence, it's also a very important section for the creative economy. As we know, right, that the, sorry, okay. Am I still sharing the slides or no more?
No more.
No more, okay, all right, okay, never mind. I think it's okay, I'm just gonna explain here. It is actually for artificial intelligence, or we call it AI, it is referred to the how of human intelligence in machine. So, for example, like music, photography. Where else the create activity itself been taken place. Let's say if you develop a video musics, and you want to share it to the whole world, creating the for example, the live music is an artificial intelligence, because we need to have machine, and sharing with the world Basically, you need to find, okay, the platform. You need to you might need to register with some of the official websites on this. So basically, that is what creative economy. It's a linkages, between demand and supply. Creating goods is creating goods from human with the machine, combination of them. The simulation is artificial intelligence itself, right? I know it is a lot of interplay definition between these two. Similarly to like digital economy, there are many new terms in our days, in our world these days, right?
Okay,
I hope
so
that is clear.
okay, it still has connection with the answers, Dr. Faiza. The question is, which countries have done this so far? And then how this artificial intelligence reshapes the country's creative economy?
China is the leaders, in this artificial economy, from the slides that I think I have shared you, how China becomes the key drivers beside Asia, Indonesia, and Malaysia. The major industry is looking at film, television, and of course AI, artificial intelligence itself. So there will be a growing numbers of countries. As I said, because of the pandemic, some of the data we cannot get the data because of the lockdown and all the issues. That's why some of the data are presented until 2019. But I believe that after 2022, when the economy is reopened, when we are having endemic, but I think maybe next year we will have good data. And I can tell you the specific industries. However, in general, we can see that film, TV, radio, because of the online games and all, and people was locked down for 2 years. I think that is one of the major industries for now. Okay, but maybe when people start to moving around, tourism will become the second one. Maybe museum, galleries, libraries could be the next one, right? Okay, I cannot tell specifically because I don't have the data, unfortunately.
Okay, we still have 2 questions. Are we still good to go, Dr. Faiza?
Yes, I'm fine. Yes, I'm here ready.
Okay, so
it's good to see that your student is very participative. It's great.
Thank you. Okay, the third question is, in your opinion, why Indonesia and Malaysia film industry are not growing significantly, while we know that this industry can contribute a lot to a country's GDP?
Right. Okay. Thanks for the questions. As I mentioned, there need to be a specific research on this area, which I might not be the experts for now. However, in general, maybe later on, I could share some data for films, and but I'm not sure how famous it is. Do you know that the film that hit the box office in Malaysia recently is Mat Kilau, which one of the key actors is from Indonesia?
We do not have any Malaysian movie in Indonesian theater.
It's a very it is a box office movie. We call it Mat Kilau, and one of the actors from Indonesia, and the film hit 10 juta ringgit Malaysia. And also Netflix would like to subscribe that films. Because Indonesia film industry is also very, very huge compared to Malaysia, but I think this is one of the push factors for most of Malaysian filmmakers. When they look at Mat Kilau, they have to incorporate some of the international actors so that there will be more demand for the movie. And also it is actually a historical stories. It's about how we try to get our independence from Mat Kilau, because sometimes I think people, you have to be creative lah, because all if you talk about love stories, you talk about Harry Potter and all this, is quite common. these days people want to see something different, and it's also in line with our Merdeka Day in August. The film was, you know, is a big achievement in our industries. So for Indonesia industries, I think there is a big opportunities, but we have to create something that it match with the desire or the demand of the, you know, the society. I think that's what important.
Maybe add on to Dr. Faiza's and the question from the student. I think I would like to share the Korean. They are very good and very successful in the film creative economy, where they engage everything together with the tourism. Even they have package to make it as a museum. So they are considered the success in the movie creative industry.
Yes, I think Korean movie industry would be one of the key reference for Malaysia and also for Indonesia. How we could, you know, develop up to that part. It's like watching Korean movie. We don't understand the language, but we can feel it. You know, there is a strong connection between the, you know, the the people and, you know, the movie itself, even though you don't understand the language, perhaps. Okay, but I think Malaysia and Indonesia, we are quite close. We could understand each other very, very, you know, very, very much. So yes, there are big market for that.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, hopefully this will answer one of the students' questions. Okay, then we have the final questions, Dr. Faiza.
Yeah.
Okay, this is about Xiamen University. How has COVID-19 impacted Xiamen University students' intake? And how has COVID-19 changed Xiamen's university creativity side?
Okay, right, great. I think that is very important question, especially from the perspective of students. Before that, I would like to share with you that I've been teaching in Xiamen from 2016 when I was the part-timers. I was with the first batch. We have the first batch student from China at that time, because we don't recruit Malaysian or international students. It's about 100 students in the class, and it grows to 200 to 300, 350. It hits to 350, one of my largest, because I am teaching the principle of economic, which is year 1, semester 1 common course. So basically, if you come to Xiamen, you will see me in your first semesters. When the COVID-19 hits the world, many students have to go back. And also we are conducting the classes online. Truly speaking, back in 2020, we managed to have like 7 weeks face-to-face, and after that is all online. We face so much struggle because some students, they don't have good internet connection at home. Even the lecturers, we are not very familiar with Teams, Google Meet, you know. So it's quite tough for us and also for them. And we have to do video recording, which is very boring at first, but we don't have any infrastructures at that time. And for the first semesters, we struggle, and I can see that it impacts the student very much. The student also feel the challenges. It's hard actually to study virtually without a good infrastructures. And after that, you know, the universities have put more, you know, efforts to provide us with the Teams, with the Google Meets, with the online quizzes, online examinations, you know, with the good systems and all. And we could see that after second semester, third semester, students quite familiar with, very comfortable. In fact, you know, last semesters when we are having face-to-face, some of them were actually staying at the hostel, even though it's just a walking distance. And I was asking them, then why were you in campus when you do not want to feel more comfortable at their own learning space? rather than coming to the physical class, which they think that, you know, it less efficient for them. So I can see that, you know, the way we learn in class is very much different. Some students feel like they feel, you know, very much convenient to do it from home rather than in class itself. So besides, of course, they can be multitask at the same time when they are, you know, on the virtual class. But to me personally, as an educator, I prefer to have face-to-face. I mean, quite an old school thinking, but I think this is where the student learn more, especially for economic subjects. Because, you know, we have equation, calculation, you know, to be solved. So I will really love to see my student in front of me. Okay. But I guess with all the technological advances, you can still do it from home. The student getting better now. Even the results showing some improvement. But honestly speaking, in 2020, many students did not do well for econs, especially. Right? I hope I'll, you know, that's experience is good enough for many students. What about your student, Mr. Susanto? How was your day coping with COVID-19 pandemic and lockdowns?
At the very beginning, I think that we are much similar. That teachers, lecturers only share their materials through Google Classroom. A lot of lecturers found it very hard going online, since that many of them were not familiar, like using Zoom. Okay. At the time, Google Meet, Microsoft Teams were really not popular among us. The only thing that we could use was Zoom. And then a lot of students were from out of town, and then they kept complaining that the reception was not good. A lot of students entering, going out into the virtual room. Very hard time, both for both lecturers and students, Dr. Faiza. But luckily, the government saw this, and then they tried to improve the infrastructure. Even though we have to admit that the homework was still a lot to be done by the government. But till today, I think that everybody was getting more and more familiar with technology. We could cope with it very well now. Okay, and everybody is learning how to live by this COVID-19. But now I think that Indonesian conditions about this COVID-19 is getting much better. We have very low report of people getting infected now. Okay, so we could hold 100% attendance in the campus now, and economy is kicking back. Okay, almost everybody is working now. Tourism areas are swamped by tourists. Okay, even in weekends, it is hard to get hotel rooms nowadays in tourism area. So
I think it is very much similar to Malaysia. You can see that every weekend is like Raya. Every weekend, you know, it's a traffic jam.
Yes, I flew there in Hari Raya. I flew to Penang in Hari Raya, and then it was even hard to get Grab over there because a lot of people were visiting Malaysia now.
Yes,
okay, so
indeed.
I think that, I think it is a good sign. It's a good sign. Hopefully, the condition is getting better and better. So we don't have to lock down anymore. We don't have to keep our distances anymore. And hopefully everything can be conducted offline so that one day our student, I myself, and all our academic staff and lecturers could meet you personally, Dr. Faiza, see
Yes,
Ms.
you are
Lestari,
always welcome
see
to
Ms.
our universities.
Binting.
Yeah, it's great. You should, you know, visit our universities. And also, if you have the chance, Miss Lala, we could go to, you know, your institution. That will be a very good collaboration works. And I'm very enjoy, you know, today. And I see there are so many young, you know, talented leaders from ECA, from your institution, and I really hope that they would, you know, they would think about creative economy and how it could, you know, they could become one of the major contributors in the later future. Right, I think with that, thank you so much. And you are always welcome to contact me for any further questions on this presentation. Right, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Faiza, for your sharing in the 40-minute session. Okay, so I think that I can recap from today's event. Number one is that COVID-19 has forced us to be creative. It has forced us to learn a lot of things. Second thing is that doesn't matter what the challenges are, human always will come up with a solution, and those solutions can become beneficial for us and for economics. Okay, so thank you very much for the sharing, Dr. Faiza. And then we have a closing remarks from Dr. Sri Rezeki. Sri, please give your closing remarks. Microphone, Bu Sri. Your microphone, please. We cannot listen to you, Bu Sri. We don't listen to anything, Bu Sri. Can you reset your microphone, please?
Halo, sudah dengar Pak?
Oke. Iya.
Aduh, terpaksa Indra datang tergopoh-gopoh. Baik, pertama sekali saya ingin mengucapkan terima kasih lah ya kepada Dr. Faizah ya sore hari ini memberikan materi yang saat ini lagi tren ya, ekonomi kreatif. Jadi bukan hanya di Malaysia, hampir seluruh negara saat ini itu sedang meningkatkan program ekonomi kreatif. Nah, sore hari ini telah disampaikan tentang tren saat ini, kemudian kesempatan bahkan tantangan yang akan datang terhadap ekonomi kreatif. Nah, di Indonesia sendiri pun tentang ekonomi kreatif ini sangat wajib istilahnya di kampus-kampus, di perguruan tinggi tentang bagaimana mahasiswa itu mengetahui cara dan strategi untuk meningkatkan ekonomi kreatif dari usaha kecil menengah terdahulu, Dr. Faizah ya. Jadi topik hari ini sangat menarik, buat saya juga sangat menarik, tentunya anak-anak kami juga sangat menarik. Tadi terbukti dari beberapa pertanyaan yang bagus diberikan kepada Dr. Faizah. Jadi mungkin saya nanti kita akan ada conference. Tadi Pak Susanto ada chat-chatan kita. Mungkin nanti kalau berkenan mungkin bisa diundang untuk jadi keynote speaker. Karena topik kita ini cocok juga nih untuk strategi pengembangan setelah Covid ya, strategi peningkatan ekonomi setelah Covid, after Covid. Jadi COVID-19 ini benar-benar meluluh lantakkan perekonomian ya, bukan hanya Indonesia, hampir seluruh negara. Even tidak semuanya juga, tapi di bidang kesehatan tentunya mereka meraih banyak keuntungan ya kalau di bidang kesehatan. Jadi tidak bisa juga kita samaratakan bahwa seluruh sektor ekonomi lumpuh, tapi di bidang tertentu justru meraup keuntungan yang sangat luar biasa ya. Oke, mungkin itu ya. Terima kasih sekali lagi kepada pembicara pada sore hari ini, guest lecturer kita yang cantik, smart, kemudian asik cara penyampaiannya, keren gitu ya. Kita semuanya tertarik dan senang. Makasih juga nih buat Miss Lala ya yang sudah memperkenalkan dengan Dr. Faizah ya. Jadi kegiatan sore hari ini sangat-sangat luar biasa. Kita appreciate terhadap pembicara kita pada sore hari ini. Next mungkin akan melayangkan surat undangan kepada Dr. Faizah untuk sebagai keynote speaker pada acara conference kita. Mungkin itu saja yang bisa saya sampaikan. Sekali lagi terima kasih. Saya sudahi. Oh, tunggu dulu. Saya ingin mengucapkan terima kasih dulu kepada semua dosen yang hari ini berhadir. Kemudian kepada seluruh panitia, terutama IT kita, Pak Indra yang lari sana lari sini. Kemudian kepada seluruh mahasiswa kita yang datang ke kampus pada hari ini ataupun yang mengikuti secara daring ya. Baik, Dr. Faizah, Miss Lala dan teman-teman yang lain, sekali lagi terima kasih. Saya sudahin sambutan ini. Billahi taufiq wal hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Sri Rezeki. Okay, and then thank you very much to our guests from Xiamen University, Malaysia, and hopefully in another event, and hopefully we can see you all off-site, not on-site. On-site. Okay, not off-site anymore. Organizing everything.